People sometimes have great ideas with their cars, and other times they're absolutely horrible and they need to have their eyes checked. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're going to be talking about car trends that we think need to just stay in 2024 and never ever come back. Which, by the way, if you're watching, welcome to Martini Works. Hope you're subscribed. And of course, if you're looking for car parts, mod your car with your friends over at martiniworks.com. Dakota, do you have any thoughts on any sort of modifications or trends that you just think should slide under the rug, be suffocated into oblivion?
Well, I just want to say one thing that made me happy. When we did this in a previous year, we talked a lot about forged carbon and how we weren't a big fan. Some people got offended, all right? But I mean, it is what it is. People have different tastes. Majority of people don't like forged carbon. That's just the way it is. Okay. And now, you know, after going to some car shows throughout 2024, I seen a lot less forged carbon.
Look what you did.
I wasn't. It was mostly you, I think.
Actually, it was, yeah.
I think you did it.
It's your profit.
Forged carbon is my biggest.
Okay, but we need the 2025 op. What trend do you want to see hit the dirt and go 6 feet under?
I love underglow.
Oh.
And I love accent lighting. I feel like the crazy amount of LEDs and everything maybe need to chill.
I got
a little
it.
bit.
I know the next one that's going to start
What is it?
declining. It's not necessarily because I want it to. I don't care.
He asked you a question but didn't listen to a word you said.
I did.
He was busy thinking about his
It made me
answer.
think of mine. No, it made me think of mine.
What you got?
The LED
Oh, the
Rolls
headliner?
Royce Star headliner.
You know what I saw was wild on Instagram the other day? Someone did Starlight fender liners, and it was the wildest that I've ever seen. It was on like I think it was on like an Escalade or something like that, or something like it was like lifted a little bit.
Starlight my toilet.
Do it.
No, Toto your toilet. It's way
Toto.
better that way.
I watched my buddy Max do his, and I can't believe anybody has f***ing done that mod. Doing all that fiber optic cable, also taking out your headliner, is just the biggest pain in the ass. And now that it's been done a million times, I think we're going to start seeing that trend die off. So
Yeah.
start thinking of other things you can shove in your headliner. Mark IV guys, Volkswagen guys, actually are the pros at that because every headliner sags. So if you see a Mark IV Jetta or Golf with a custom headliner, it's not because they're super savvy, home good.
Because they had to.
It's because they had to do something because their headliner was dragging on the fucking head while they're driving down the road.
It was like my favorite thing. You'll see like an E55 AMG with like a bucket seat, like a sport race bucket seat. And you're like, oh my God, that guy has a race car. It's like, no, he just didn't want to deal with the electrical gremlins that the E55 had, which were the seats, did battery drain all the time. I don't know. I don't know what sort of trend.
What do you think, Alex?
Well, there's been a lot of trends this year. I feel like there's been this new resurgence of wrapping things like in crazy colors. Everybody's wrapping everything. It's like the first mod I see people do these days, which I think is kind of interesting. I don't see a lot of people caring about like quality tires as much as I used to, at least with like builds and stuff like that. On the internet, I see a lot of people just like buying whatever it is like a tire company will give them. I've noticed a lot of like Kumos popped up as being like more popular nowadays. And
I didn't mind
shit.
I didn't mind mine. I had the PA51s on the
No, I'm not saying they're bad. I was just saying like you don't
They're
see.
making like a push.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. There's a lot more of a push into
I was
that.
gonna say anytime they were, I did get reached out a ton. I think it wasn't the USA Kumo Instagram, but it was like the Canadian one, and they would message me like once a month, like, "Hey, can we share your picture from 2022 when you took this photo?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
That was nice
I
of
don't
them.
care." Yeah,
What about chassis mounted wings?
on the right
That was
car.
a craze for a bit.
I know.
I just-
The crazy like arrow was a craze, and it's so funny. You can totally tell like when a car was built in like 2016, 2017, and it's just like stayed that way. The Pandem like V3 came out for like the FRS and the BRZs, had like 11 dive plates in the front, and there was like the huge canard built into the front bumper, chassis mount wing with a bunch of like diffusers and stuff like that. Like still looks sick, but I feel like that has really been on the decline.
Ankle cutters, those are bad. I'm glad those are dying. That's not my answer, but I'm glad there's less of them around. I never really liked the ankle cutter thing. You know, like the
canards and dive plates and
yeah, but that are like 17 inches long off the back of the car.
Oh.
I think
You know
they're
what I'm
sick.
talking about?
I like the aggressive like time attack, JDM.
But that's
time
not
attack
time
style.
attack.
But it's got to make.
I know
not
it,
time
it
attack. That's
morphs
just
to
style.
car show stuff. I know, but I
There's a
like
difference
seeing
between time
it.
attack and like car show style.
No, they're the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same stuff.
They're the same.
Okay.
Joke.
I thought-
It's a joke.
I thought every car in Gatlinburg also did time attack.
They do absolutely. What,
I have a
they
trend.
drive their cars.
I have a trend. That I
More
think-
Game of Thrones cars.
Stop. The DJ is still messaging me about that
Oh,
a year and a
jeez.
half later. I would say the one trend I would like to see pass away
Jesus.
is the trend of people doing
CEOs.
like their second HPDE event and bragging about how much faster they are than other cars at an HPDE event. It pisses me off in such a weird way because I'm excited that these people are going out and they're doing track days with their car, which is super fun, and you should do it and save your money and go nuts for it. But they'll grab a GoPro. They're in the novice group. There's only 4 passing zones. And then these guys will go around a track and they'll cut a portion where they get stuck behind a car in a non-passing zone and talk all sorts of shit about how much faster they are than the car in front of them, like a Cayman or a GT3 RS, and I'm in a 370Z and I'm so much faster and blah, 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 and this guy stinks in front of me. And I hate it because anybody that actually goes out there and does a driving day, like an HPDE day, like you're not racing the other person in front of you. And there's so many times where you're just going to naturally group up in certain situations that have nothing to do with the person in front of you driving worse or driving better. It's just like a nature of the beast. And so it kind of pisses me off when I see people like talking shit in an HPDE environment because that's not the intention of an HPDE
Right.
day. It's meant to educate and like get better at a drive.
Like improve your skills.
If you were
yeah.
talking hella smack as you're sitting in like a GT3R and you're racing at like Spa and you're talking a little shit, totally different concept. But I've seen so many people that will like, you can look at their videos. They have like 6 videos, first track day to 5th track day, and they're Steve McQueen on the 6th track day talking shit about other people, and I just don't like it. That's what I think needs to die. If you're gonna go to a track day to learn how to drive and become a better driver, focus on yourself and not the people around you that are also trying to learn how to drive, because then you're just a dick.
It's fair. So not necessarily a car mod, but
Like an attitude.
attitude adjustment.
Just an attitude, you know? Just have fun out there, have a good time. If people are slow, you know, think of yourself as a faster driver. But I think bragging about it on the internet and talking about other people that may not be as fast, I think is really counterintuitive, because there's always somebody faster. Like, you're always going to not be the fastest in the room. Always. At least that's what I think. Except here, I am the fastest.
Settle down.
I'm kidding.
Fastest to get rid of your cars.
I
but We'll get
know.
into that in a minute.
I know.
Is it just me, or do you guys think multi-piece wheels are slowing down and more people are going with monoblock?
No, I've seen more multi-piece wheels this
Yeah,
year
I'm
than
gonna
I did
say
last
like
year.
freaking GMR is taking over everything.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's 'cause
I mean, yeah, they're making
There was a ton of
ton of
those
GMRs.
it was more. It was the most popular.
Goomer wheels,
It was more popular than any other brand at Gatlinburg.
and it's
I
a
like
rep
I
brand.
went down the row and I counted,
Yeah, it was
and
GMRs
GMR
fucking
took over Work, SSR, and Volt.
I don't know anything about that brand. I couldn't tell you one thing about that brand, to
I
be
just
honest.
know that they're everywhere. They must be like more affordable, obviously, a little more obviously
think so.
achievable.
Well, yeah, they make like
which is-
Blitz reps.
Yeah, which is like it's whatever. Like they still look good. Obviously, they're replicating designs that did super well. But yeah, they were everywhere. So I mean,
They're one of those replica brands though that doesn't even like try. Like they are just like one of one replicas.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how I feel about them, but I don't know if anybody's really asked us to sell them a set.
I
'Cause
mean, I
usually
think
like
it's kind of icky to just do like exact copy
Yeah,
of wheels and sell them for a
100%.
cheaper price. I think that's icky. I don't know if they're strong or affordable or what, but like doing that direct rip off is kind of.
it was surprising to me when I saw GMR, because I didn't actually like catch it the first time I saw
yeah,
it.
they fooled me sometimes. I was
The-
like, oh, that's sick. It's like, wait,
Yeah, the first time I was like, that's a Blitz 03. And then I looked closer and I'm like, well, Blitz 03s didn't have a center cap like that. And then I got a little bit closer. I'm like, what the is
Son of a bitch.
GMR? Son of a bitch.
What
And then I started
GMR
looking
stand
I started looking around, and there's more. Maybe you guys will let us know if you had a good experience or not with GMRs, because I don't have any experience
like-
with the wheel brand.
they've just kind of have gotten that pass because they are 3-piece, and it's like I know that's not.
I don't know if
I
they've
know it's
gotten
not
any
right.
pass. To be
I don't
honest
know.
with you.
Well, I think they have, because I think most of the I haven't seen people talk shit about it.
The
I
jury's
see
out on
more people talking shit about Koenig than on the internet than GMRs ever,
which is wild.
which is wild because I feel
I
like
think-
Koenig's better.
That's a trend that's going to keep going. I've seen Koenig wheels blow up recently at the end of this year with a few of their new designs from their affordable Forge stuff. To like the Mark 1 with the aero cover. It's really cool that Koenig's pushing and trying new things, and it's been well received.
Yeah,
So-
if you're that one or two people that ended up picking up the Mark 1s from MartiniWorks.com.
I want to see him on your car.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Send us photos.
Add them to the build threads.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Going
What's
away.
a car trend you personally want to die, and that anyone that's running it's an idiot?
Jesus Christ.
That's an awfully
Just
specific.
throwing in the personal attack.
There's like people.
I'm clip farming.
Okay. Put your farmer hat on.
I don't have one, but I'll get one.
That's a good question, man. I don't.
Come on, what's a mod that just pisses you off?
That upsets me a
Probably
lot.
piss-filled headlights.
That's you.
He used to love that. Now he hasn't done it since.
He tried to,
I got-
to do it on the Ferrari.
I did, but it didn't work.
But it didn't work.
It didn't work. I will bring that back for the sole sake of doing it to show Dakota that they're not piss-filled headlights. Damn it. Like, that's the only reason.
Could be.
God, I don't know, man. There's not much out there that, like...
What do you think of the SUV craze? Do you
I-
think that's good? You want to see more of that?
I don't know if I want to see more of it. I'm glad that people are modifying anything.
Yeah,
Like, that's
I
cool.
agree with
Yeah.
that.
I think if you modify anything, that's cool. I think if you try to, like, do it in a way that's, like, anybody else that does it differently is a fucking idiot. I hate.
I feel like we're getting old, so there's got to be like that mod where we look at it and we're like, what the hell? Oh, I mean, we've said this before, but like mirror tint is kind of...
Yeah, it was cool for a little bit, and I almost did it too.
Yeah, I almost did too on one of my cars, but then it just fades
Yeah.
insanely fast. If you get any type of color, the entire car on the
is crazy.
inside is that
Yeah.
color. So it's like,
I think I've come to more of a realization
I don't
that
mind it, though.
there's quite literally no difference between that old guy talking about his 1 of 50 Chevy Corvette in burgundy red and caramel interior than there is the one guy talking about his Altia kit on his R34
Hey.
GTT that's 1 of 1. There's no difference between those two people, I'm noticing.
I'm right here.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
No, I just like I saw a lot of people always talk about like those guys, you know, like the older
Yeah.
domestic guys.
yeah.
But
Well,
everybody
okay.
everybody this year is buying more and more domestics. That's going to be a trend in 2025. People are like, "Wait a minute, I don't need to buy a $15,000 KA 240. I can spend the same amount of money.
You know what I'm
I
not
can
thrilled
get
about?
a C5 Corvette with 400 horsepower."
You know,
This
hey,
guy's done
listen,
in 2020.
listen. It's not that, like I see the similarity between the Corvette guy that has his anniversary stock car and then somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. But the difference is we're not taking a GTT and it's bone stock and putting up a billboard with 3,000 words on it
maybe we should.
talking
That's-
about it.
see,
that
that
shit
was-
didn't say it's a stock car and you have a whole fucking PowerPoint about it.
But that was our first mistake. We should have done that.
No.
How Nissan
Fuck
built
making
this car.
PowerPoints.
You don't like
Nissan.
PowerPoints?
No, and I'm not gonna sit and read it either. I've never read a full one of those. Just so anybody that takes the time to make that, even if it's a car I'm interested, I still didn't read the whole fucking thing. You know, like it's like that thing when
You know who does
they
it
put a
too?
super long number and then they're like, you probably didn't read the whole number. And I'm like, you're right.
You know who else does that?
Does
the,
what?
the
Reads?
billboard style like thing for their car, and it's calling out an entire category of folks. But the amount of times I've seen Tesla owners with like
yeah.
a 12 by 16 pamphlet, or even better, the tablet on the stand in front of the car, because it's super modified Tesla. I always see heavily modified
What's
Teslas with the
heavily
fucking thing.
modified? What do they even do to them?
They usually
Charge
cut,
them quicker?
They usually just like cut a hole in the trunk so that you can see inside to the Duracell wrapped airlift 5
They
gallon.
need a billboard for that?
Well, then they have the LED lights.
And it's
they want to
wrapped,
light
of
it up. It's
course.
wrapped. It's got
It's like a
three-piece
PC.
wheels
It's like a PC spec list.
Yeah.
with a very flat
RGB
face.
lighting,
Makes sense.
new fans,
Usually the yoke
different power supply,
Yeah.
braided wire cable.
Water cooled. Wait.
trunks
Wait.
popped. Always has the sound system in the back.
I'm realizing now that a PC build and a Tesla build are very
Very
similar
similar.
builds.
Same
Someone
audio.
needs to capitalize on that.
That is pretty wild.
I bet you there's already somebody out there that matched their Tesla to their PC build.
That'd be kind of sick, honestly.
Thoughts on EV builds? Do those need to die in 2025?
No.
I still like to see
Do
it.
whatever the you
I'm just
want.
trying to get Alex to say something controversial, but he keeps playing it safe.
I'm trying to think of
Ah, ah.
something that I really don't like, and I'm
You're being
I'm
too
struggling.
nice.
Okay, well, you know me. What do I hate?
Hey, you're not grumpy enough
Careful.
for this podcast.
Careful.
Alex hates cars with harnesses.
I do. That's stupid. Don't be an idiot.
Others, yeah, I guess you are pretty open to vehicle. Like I've never heard you walk past a vehicle and be like, "Oh my god, I hate this build." I don't think I've ever heard Alex say that.
I can't count it.
I do it daily.
The one thing I wish there was more of in 2025 is people trying new things and being honest about experiencing things for the first time. I think social media has made it so easy for everyone to feel like they must be an expert in whatever it is that they post about or talk about or do. And it's kind of lame. I miss the mystery of builds and people who build them on the internet. Like that was one of my favorite things of some of my older YouTube crowd videos I'd watch is like they didn't know what they were getting into. They didn't really know the platform that well. They didn't really act like they knew everything about it, but they just went in and they did it. And as they did it, they learned new things. That's why I think it's Four Eyes, the guy on YouTube, and also Super Fast Matt. Like they're still some of my favorite YouTubers because their content always feels like they're gonna teach you something that they learned along the way, but at no point are they ever trying to tell you that they are the best at whatever it is that they're
Or like you need to do it this way.
Yeah, and I miss that because it's like when I go out on TikTok and stuff like that, sometimes it always just feels like I got a new car.
You're just being told stuff.
Yeah, I got a new car. Here's the best parts for it. I'm going to do this, and it's exactly what I want, but I'm going to clickbait the out of it by wrapping it a weird color. I don't know. I miss where it felt like you were with them, you know?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm with them.
I know what you mean.
The guy that started at Donut, Tristan?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was with him when he was building the 240.
Oh, 100%.
That's what made that video so much fun to watch. Is like I enjoyed that. It was like I got done watching it. I would never do that amount of work, but I never felt like he was like, if you don't bring your 240 down to a chassis and rebuild it from the ground up, you're an idiot. I've never once thought that.
It's like he was doing that, but at the same time, he's like, I have no idea how to get these bushings out, so I'm gonna just make this tool. It didn't work. Don't do that.
That is content.
Yeah.
That is what I love about content.
I loved his videos.
And that's when it comes to builds, that's the type I like. I still like storytelling. I'm a huge nerd about that. I think that's why I like telling stories. But yeah, for 2025, I'd love to see more of that. More people just like trying things without giving you the thought of that they already know how to do it.
Same token of that too. I think it's evolved into that because if you do make the slightest miscalculation or mistake or something and you don't do it exactly how it's supposed to be done, you have 5,000 comments telling you that you are an idiot.
That's good. You got 5,000 comments.
Well, I did that.
Fair.
I did that the other day.
Actually, it's more just one really, really rude one that made me cry.
And then everybody likes it.
Yeah, that hurt.
No, so I had one where it was like talking about Japanese license plates and how like it is considered rude to take a picture of a car, especially at somebody's house with their license plate shown. Ideally, you'd want to, one, not take the picture. In Japan.
Okay.
But two, if you do, to blur out the plate. And so I learned this information, not from one, not from two, but I would say like 6 car enthusiasts that live, speak, and were born in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
They are Japanese car enthusiasts through and through. And they're like, yeah, it's considered just common practice. Like, if you're in a public area, you can probably get away with it. But, like, yeah, you don't really want to.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why, and here's why, and here's why. So
photographing cars at people's houses.
it happens all the time. Because, like, people will see a car as they're, like, walking down a random alleyway, and you'll see a really dope
I suppose they don't
KTM
have,
car.
like, garages.
Yeah, you'll see an NSX or you'll see a Supra or whatever. And the amount of people that are like, this fucking kid's got no idea what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. You could take a photo of whatever. And then you got Americans and Japanese people yelling at each other and fighting in the comments. And it's like, you can even do it the right way and say the right thing and have the right, like, backing, and the internet will still.
I still hate the license plate blur thing. I don't care what country you're in.
I'm sorry.
It's the most public piece of information that you own is your license plate. The entire world sees it always, all the time. But suddenly when it's in a photo, now it needs to be hidden.
Dude.
Now nobody can see it because that is private information.
In Japan, it was a little bit different because you could actually find out where the car was registered and kept at, because they have to show proof that they can actually store a vehicle in Japan. And so if you saw a really nice car out in the world, you take a picture of the plate, you could go to a website, you could search the plate up, you could find out where the car was. And so people would
They
use
shouldn't
that.
allow that to be public information.
So they finally put like a little blocker on it to say, okay, if you need this, you have to give us your information. Well, we all know how the internet works. It doesn't take much to find a worker. And that's why here in the United States, you can't, to my best of my knowledge, you cannot exclusively use a license plate to find out where somebody lives. And that's the difference.
Even in Japan, homeboy driving home from work pulls over at the 7-Eleven and gets some onigiri, fire, and some Boss coffee.
And an egg
at
sandwich.
the gas station, he's like, damn, that's a sick car. I'm going to steal it. I want to know where he lives. It's still the same He can still look it up. So what's the difference if it's parked at his house or it's parked at the gas station? He gets the same information regardless of where the photo is taken.
I'm convinced, actually, Dakota works for the mafia because he's trying to get you to think
I
it's
don't know
okay
a
to
single
take photos
person
so that he can steal your Supra in Japan.
Anyone
That's
has
the
gotten their
truth.
car stolen because of their license plate. I don't know anybody.
Bring him the gabagool.
I'm so over. I immediately. I don't care who it is. I'm not even gonna say sorry. If I see you post a for sale ad and you're covering the license plate with
That's
your
dumb.
thumb,
That's silly.
you're a f***ing idiot.
That's silly. I agree.
I think you're stupid.
That's the best part is when they take the picture and their thumb's in focus, so then the entire car is out of focus. And it's just this
blurry thumb
fucking
photo.
thumb.
Yeah, it's like Spy Kids 3D with the thumb people.
Yeah.
My favorite is every once in a while I'll go on Marketplace and like they introduce the video feature, then the 10 photos. And like you'll go and you'll watch the video, but most people don't watch it with the sound on. I encourage you to watch those
it's
videos with the sound
great.
on because it's so.
Yeah, because they're not
good.
like saying anything, but you just hear them like getting out of the car.
I heard one time I was looking at a car. It was like a Corvette. And like the f***ing couple was like fighting as he was filming the video. So he's like, "I'm putting the f***ing video up right now so I can get rid of this thing. So you stop barking on my ass about it." I'm like dying. I'm trying. I literally go to Google and I'm like Facebook video downloader like URL to try and see if I can rip it off from the Marketplace.
You should just be able to save the video on there.
Oh my
That's awesome.
God.
I love that. I'm gonna.
Amazing.
That's my new pastime.
That's my favorite activity.
Well, I think we should stop taking photos of license plates then, so everyone's safe.
Okay.
Yes.
But we should take more photos of tires. And if you have Continental tires, take a photo of them, tag Martini Works, and I'll share it on the story personally.
Damn.
All right,
Yeah.
I want every single
It's
two.
gonna be a week from now. We're like, why the hell are we getting tagged?
I'll be happy, even if I forget that I said this, which I will. I'll forget it by the end of the day. But do it, and I'll see all the notifications come through, and I'll remember because Continental is one of the biggest sponsors of the Martini Works podcast, and we're very thankful for them. They have the DWSO6, they got the ECSO2, Viking Contact 7s.
And you, hey, I asked Continental what's a good tire for SUVs because there's so many people asking about them these days. And the answer is the DWSO6 Plus.
That is like the most universal tire.
Yeah,
You
they
get
said-
that one, that's playing it safe.
Yeah.
But it's a good tire still. I really like it. So make sure you check that out. They have a phenomenal warranty that you can use. You guys have heard us just talk about Continental left and right all year long, and that's because we love it. We use it on our personal cars, and we'll continue to do so. So thank you to Continental, and tag us in those photos of your Continental tires. I'll even tag Continental in it. I'll send it to Josh. He's our Continental guy. He'll love it. He'll love it. So now you'll know your photo will go straight to Continental. Isn't that cool? I hope I'm not over-promising here. All right. Bye. Bye-bye. All right. Goodbye now.